that you can never hear from the pulpit. Are we together tonight? And as a matter of fact, when it comes to mentorship, mentorship is not handled on the pulpit. It's handled behind the closed doors. So what is happening here? Jesus is making himself vulnerable. I'm not trying to be vulgar, but Jesus is not wearing anything here. He's been naked. He's been vulnerable. But can I be honest with you? One of the evidences of closeness is vulnerability. One of the evidences of proximity is nakedness. When you see a man's nakedness, it's because he has allowed you to be close to him. You're not getting me tonight. Sometimes your pastor invites you into his home. Then you see that your pastor and his wife probably once in a year exchanging words. Then you go on social media. I thought this man is anointed. I never knew that this man also argues with his wife. But this is what you don't understand. You saw that sin because he has allowed you into his home. This is why you are not allowed to grant immature people access, because you would destroy them. Are we together? It's one of the things I don't do anymore. You see on social media, people will inbox you and say, I want to follow you, I want to follow you. But it's not everyone who can follow you. Because where you're going to see grace, sometimes you are going to see so much of humanity there. And if you are not careful, you will shift your gaze from the grace and begin to focus on humanity. Because we have these treasures in earthen vessels. And this is one of the things destroying many youths today. When I see what folks write on social media, it will take the grace and the mercy of God for them to go far. Because those who are humble, they are yet to receive help. How much more those who are proud? Are we together tonight? So this is happening behind the closed doors. He's not being vulnerable to everyone. He's not being vulnerable to those who are looking for pieces of fish and loaves of bread. The Bible says after that, he takes a towel, but this time around, he's covering part of his nakedness. Are we together? And by the time he wants to begin to wash the feet of his disciples, he becomes naked again. So in other words, there's a time to be naked. Are you following my teaching tonight? There's a time to be naked in mentorship. There's a time not to be completely naked, and there's a time to be naked again. So this time around, it takes a towel. That's why sometimes when some people are demanding for some information from you, you decide to hold back. That's what Jesus is saying here. He's using towel to cover part of his vulnerability. You are saying to them, there are things I want to tell you, but you don't have the capacity, you don't have the ability to receive them right now. That's what Jesus is saying to Peter. What I'm doing, you don't understand now, but the time is going to come, you will understand what I'm doing. But when he's washing their feet, he's naked again. So in other words, when it comes to kingdom leadership, there are two things that will be constant with you: vulnerability and servanthood. You cannot be a kingdom leader as a boss. There is a difference between being a boss and being a servant. Let's bring it home. You cannot lead your wife as a boss. You can only lead your wife as a servant. There are many men today, the only thing they do is to drop money. And after dropping money, they don't do nothing again. Some of us travel, but when we're at home, we serve. Whatever you want to see in your home, you start it. There's nothing I don't do in my home. Nothing. And I'm not doing this because I'm teaching. All right? It's very dangerous to say some things that you're not doing in 21st century. In those days, you could lie. Today, you can't lie. Probably my wife is watching it live. You understand? If I'm lying, she will know. There's nothing I don't do. All right? So you don't boss your wife around. You lead by serving your wife. Can I hear amen from men? All right? Because if you don't serve her, in no time, your wife will appear like your mother. You're not getting me tonight. And so, he's taking the form of a servant. He's washing the feet of his own. Listen, not the feet of everyone. He's serving his own, not everyone. He's not a servant of everyone. He's serving his own. Are we together tonight? Then Peter